Deadzone Rogue is a fast-paced, first-person roguelike shooter that's absolutely bursting with potential. Think Borderlands in terms of constantly finding new guns with their own elemental effects and perks, blended with Returnal's risk-reward system where each run gives you a unique build until you die. Classic permadeath. The story doesn't shove itself in your face. There's no long intro cutscene or heavy exposition, just a gun, an objective, and the freedom to get going. But as you progress, you'll start to notice bits of storytelling tucked into the environment and scattered logs. It's subtle, but there's a mystery unfolding in the background if you're paying attention. If you've played these, this will feel familiar, but Deadzone brings its own slick, stylish energy that sets it apart. Combat feels fast, flexible, and addictively fun. You dash, double jump, and maneuver through tight corridors packed with enemies. Movement is smooth and responsive, and the stealth mechanic adds a layer of strategy. Just a quick explanation, when entering a new zone, you're cloaked until you make your first move. It gives you time to plan ahead instead of diving straight into chaos. At its core, the combat system gives you a primary and secondary weapon, a melee attack, and a grenade, tools you'll constantly juggle during fights. Grenades also play a much bigger role than you'd expect. They're not just for damage, they're a key part of triggering effects. Tossing one can proc elemental status effects, or even give you increased crit chance, depending on your build. You can upgrade everything from grenade cooldown to explosion radius to number of grenades you can carry, making them a core tool in maximizing synergy and damage output. Upgrades are intuitive, elemental effects are punchy and satisfying, and if you love tweaking loadouts or min-maxing percentages, this game will absolutely hook you. A game like this lives or dies on variety, and Deadzone delivers. After 17 plus hours, I was still finding new weapons and upgrades. I had one build where I never had to reload, and another with lifesteal. It was so strong it kicked in on just 1% proc chance, but thanks to the insane fire rate, I was always full health. The game constantly feeds you new perks, power-ups, and weapon combinations. Permanent unlocks between runs give you a sense of real progress, and every death just makes your next run smarter and stronger. Level-to-level progression brings more than just new layouts. You'll face new enemies with totally new behaviors and AI patterns. As much fun as I had in the 17 plus hours, there are definitely a few things that could be improved. As I mentioned, there are tons of guns, but only 2 melee weapons, a knife and an axe. Would have been nice to see different kinds. However, when playing, you barely think about it because of all the different effects the melee weapons have. Movement is great, but animations can feel a little stiff, like when climbing over obstacles. There's no actual information to tell if a gun is scoped or not, for example. It doesn't say if it's even like, there's a scope. It looks like there's a scope, but I can't say for sure. I wish I could see my total amount of stats. Like how much crit chance do I have? What's my total damage with all my items and abilities added together? That would be nice to see. At first, I thought the minimap was a little small, but it turns out you can adjust that in settings. That said, I still wish it showed more, like explosion barrels or coins, especially after clearing a room. Right now, you have to manually sweep for pickups, which can definitely slow down the pacing. The levels aren't randomly generated. They're pre-made, and just shuffled around, so you start to notice the patterns after a while. So now this should be the big open bay with the space window on the right. Yeah. And probably my biggest gripe, progressing the story requires completing all the side missions, which are actually fun and creatively designed, like glass cannon mode or weak spot only kills, but they shouldn't be mandatory. Let players choose, don't force them. There are a few nitpicky things, like sometimes I see the same upgrades because I'm in the same kind of area, so it's not as diverse as Borderlands, but the game switches it up enough that it's never really a bother. Anyway, Deadzone Rogue may be in early access, but honestly, it feels more polished than a lot of full-price AAA or even quadruple A games coming out today. You're a little stuck, my friend? It runs smoothly, has tons of replay value, and it's just plain fun. Okay, you're gonna freeze. Oh, you're gonna shoot you. If you're a fan of roguelikes with fast action, deep builds, and high skill combat, this is one to watch, and honestly, one to jump into right now. Quick disclosure, I did receive a free review copy from Keymailer, so thanks Keymailer. Having said that, I am giving my full honest opinion about this game.